good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining me today on your mat. It's a great decision to take some time for yourself, and I think you're going to feel better for it. So I'd like for everyone to start in just a comfortable seated position, whatever that might be for you. For me, it's on my heels with my toes tucked. It might just be cross-legged, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to start by connecting with where we are right now. Obviously, we've been right where we've been for a while, with thoughts of wanting to be elsewhere, I'm sure. But for a moment, we're just going to come to peace with exactly where we are right now and really try to absorb as much benefit as we can from this moment. So let's just start with our eyes closed, palms facing upward. And start by observing your thoughts. What's filling your mind currently? What's clouding your thoughts? Observe them. Don't attach yourself to them. Don't engage them. Don't judge them. Just watch them. As we learn to disengage with our thoughts, we find the ability to let them go. And letting go is a very important thing. So as we take this still moment before we begin our practice today, start to set an intention. What are you here for today? What are you trying to accomplish? Maybe it's just to move your body. That's totally fine. Maybe like me, it's because your mind has been too busy and you need it to slow down for a minute. Now begin tapping into your ujjayi breath. Seal your lips. Inhale through the nose, swirling the air through the top of your throat as it then roots deep into your lungs, filling your belly and then your chest. And then reversing that. Exhaling, sealing your belly, your chest, swirling that air as it passes back through. Your ujjayi breath creates an oceanic sound, which is great because today we're going to be very oceanic. And as we finish here in this moment of stillness, again bring attention to your intention. What are you hoping to gain from this moment? These moments. And when you're ready, we're going to start in all fours. Tabletop. Hands planted firmly underneath the shoulders, lined up. Knees underneath our hips. Feet flat on the floor or toes tucked for a little bit extra knee protection, whatever you might like. And we're just going to start here in a neutral spine. Lifting up out of our shoulders, starting to engage our core. Calves start to turn on, quads start to turn on. We have that in to out spiraling happening with our muscular energy in our arms. And on our next inhale, we're going to start our cat just gently right now. This is our first movement of the day possibly. Exhaling slowly up through cat, I'm sorry. I had that backed up. So exhaling into cat, rounding the spine, relaxing the head and neck. Staying here for an inhale and an exhale. Inhale, and on your next exhale, slowly arching the back, lifting the crown of the head, using engagement in your core to make these motions happen. Inhaling here. And then exhaling up into your cat. Flexing the head and neck. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Now move through this on your own breath pace for a moment, adding whatever kind of organic movement you might like. I was following along with a good friend, Brittany Griffiths, the other day. I've been tagging her a lot, and she has been comparing her movement to seagrass or seaweed, and I just love that. I don't know why I haven't thought that before, but every movement is slow and undulating, as if the tide was just pulling you in and then pulling you out. And if you want to take a little bit of a different movement, maybe jump rope your waist, just flowing through that movement, just like the tide is pulling you in and then allowing you to fall back out. Very symmetric movements, very flowing movements. And on the end of your next exhale, meeting again in neutral spine. From here, we're going to lift our knees just a little bit off the mat, testing our engagement. Is your core turned on? Are your calves and your quads working? Your arms turned on? And lowering our knees back down. And then coming to rest in a child's pose, just for a moment. We're going to take this opportunity to stretch whatever part of your body needs it. For me, it's the lower lumbar. And so this posture really, really helps to open up that section of spine and allow it to really just breathe for a moment. Slowly walking your hands off the mat to the right. Left hand on top of right. Stretching out that left side body. And on your inhale, trying to find a little bit more length. And on your exhale, trying to allow the left side of your body to just melt a little bit deeper into the floor. Checking in with your head and neck. Are you strained? If so, relax. Taking a big inhale here. And on the top of the next exhale, slowly walking back to center before finding an equal spot on the left side. Right hand comes to touch on top of the left hand. Inhale, finding length out of the spine, out of the hips, out of the shoulders. Exhale, working to melt the right side of that body back towards the mat. Taking a deep inhale here. And on your next exhale, coming back to center for just another moment here in the center in child's pose. And then sitting back up onto all fours and then back onto your heels. This might either feel comfortable with your feet flat on the ground, here, or with your toes tucked, or you might even need a bolster under your bum if your body doesn't have the ground or your heels accessible. I'm going to face you for this moment, but we're going to inhale, arms reach high, engaging our core, plugging in our shoulders. And on our exhale, left hand finds the ground, and right arm stretches up high and then far over left. Gaze wherever feels comfortable for you. It might be your fingertips, might be straight ahead, might be down. Here we're inhaling, creating more length and structure. Exhale, finding a little more depth. And on your next inhale, coming up to center, both arms reach up high. And on your exhale, right hand this time finds the earth. Left hand reaching up tall before coming over the top. This time stretching out the left side body. Inhale, finding length, finding anatomical structure and strength there. And exhale, finding depth, squaring off those hips, not sinking into our roots, instead growing out of them. Inhale to center, and we're going to move through this movement over to the left, and then drawing the right hand across the ground, planting it, and then lifting up through the left hand on an inhale. Exhale, left hand touches the ground next to the right hand, draws across your floor, and then plants itself on the left side of your body, right arm reaching up. On an inhale, exhale, right hip finds the ground on the left side and sweeps across the ground, left hand following it, finding your stretch again, and just move through this movement for a moment. Inhaling when you reach the point of coming back up, and exhaling, coming down. Again, inspired by Brittany, really pretending you're just in the ocean. The tide flows in, you follow it, and then the tide flows out and you follow it back. You have no attachment that's keeping you with expectation. You're just in this moment of surrender. And when you reach the left side again, pause here for a moment. Inhale, both arms reach up tall. And exhale, hands down to your lap or the ground. All right, facing your direction now. Coming back to tabletop, all fours. We're going to take a moment here. Toes tuck, knees lift up slightly. Taking that right foot off the ground, we're going to touch the elbow with the knee. Very slowly. We're just starting to turn on the core. Inhaling here, exhaling. Touching the knee to the elbow. Inhaling in the center, exhale, next knee, touching with the elbow. And then meeting back in center, and pushing back into your first downward dog. Now this downward dog is your first downward dog. It should be full of empathy and compassion and softness, and it should not have expectation. It should not have ego. Finding slightly bent knees, protecting your hamstrings and your lower back from this first backside stretch. Elbow pits facing down, or I'm sorry, not elbow pits, armpits facing down towards your mat. So we have an opportunity here to either open our arms up so that our armpits are facing out, or twisting, engaging that muscle, pointing our armpits towards the ground and protecting our shoulders. On your next exhale, slowly take as many steps as you need to find yourself towards the top of your mat, keeping your feet slightly spread, hips width apart. And then just ragdolling here for a moment. Folding your arms, maybe just letting your hands, the back of the hands, fall to the earth. Taking a moment to check in. Feel the body while it allows itself to decompress here in this posture. Checking in with the head and neck.
Maybe nodding yes. Shaking your head no. And then slowly, when you're ready, we're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time.
Last head and neck, shoulders roll back. And here we are at the top of our mat. How convenient. Let's start to warm up our bodies now that things are starting to feel a little bit looser. And again, the energy I am trying to put forward today is very, very surrendered, very flowing, very at one with the tidal movements that we're pretending to be a part of. So on your inhale, bending the knees and then straightening as we lift up high. Inhaling, arms reach tall, shoulders engaged, tucking the tailbone, and exhale, swan dive down into your first forward fold, knees softly bent. Inhale, straightening our back, looking halfway up. Exhale, planting the hands and slowly stepping back into high plank. Staying here for a moment. Checking in with our bodies. How does everything feel? Maybe moving forward and back. Maybe twisting side to side. And then coming down to your knees and slowly lowering all the way down to your belly. Inhale, just the babiest little tiny cobra. We're just beginning to engage and turn on our body and move our spine. And exhale, coming back to neutral. Inhale, on the knees, coming to tabletop, flipping the toes, finding high plank, and then exhaling back into downward dog. Finding stillness and rest here. Maybe moving the body, finding whatever kind of movement might feel nice for you. For me, I like to open up my hips. And on the very end of your next exhale, slowly walking your feet towards the hands. This time, big toes just to touch, heels just slightly apart. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. And exhale, folding all the way forward. Inhale, sweeping up with just a little tiny back bend in the upper back. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands reach up high. Exhale, left hand comes down, touching the left thigh. Right hand stretches up tall. And then exhaling, allowing your right hand to find a space, drifting over the left side of your body. Inhaling, left hand comes up to meet your right hand. Right hand finds your right thigh, and exhaling, our left hand finds space, lifting up and over our body, stretching out the side. Inhaling to center, and exhale, left hand finds your thigh. Inhale, center, and right hand finds your thigh. Inhaling, both hands to center, reaching up high, and exhaling, folding forward, swan dive down. Inhale, lifting halfway up. Exhale, stepping back, staying in your high plank for a moment. Here we're going to practice almost kind of like our cat and cow, but we're going to go from this neutral
very, very flat, strong, high plank. And we're going to round the body, almost like we're going into down dog. We're pushing up through our shoulders. Our heart center is pushing back through our spine. Our belly buttons are flat against our spines. And exhale, back to high plank. Inhaling here. And exhaling, lifting up again, rounding the spine. Engaging everything. Quads are turning on. Core's turning on. Shoulders are on. And then finding the top of your plank again. One last time. Inhale here. Exhale, round the back. And then finding neutral, knees drop down, and slowly lowering onto your belly again. Feet flip to the tops, hands just next to the ribs, tailbone tucked, inhale, gently lifting up into a little tiny baby cobra. Exhale, finding a cheek. Inhale, finding that little tiny baby cobra again. Exhale, back onto your other cheek. Inhale, this time finding our cobra. Hands lift off the ground just a little bit. This doesn't mean our shoulders come up into our neck. Our shoulders are staying down, unplugged from our head. And then finding a cheek, lowering down. This whole time, your tailbone's tucked. You're strengthening and you're engaging that lower back. You're not dumping into it. Your hip bones aren't pressing so hard into the ground. You're turning on your glutes. Inhale, hands at the ribs, lifting up, hands off the ground, and this time lift your right leg off the ground. Keeping our upper body off the ground, switching legs. Inhaling here, exhale, switching. Inhaling here, exhale, switching. Inhaling here, finding the ground with both feet. And then finding the ground with your hands and your chest and your face and your cheek. Inhaling, lifting up onto our knees, all fours. Exhale, pushing back into downward dog. Inhale, the right leg goes up high, hips are open. Stacking those hips, allowing our hips to open as much as we possibly can. Maybe drawing circles with the knee. Inhale, right foot lifts up high, toes pointed. Now squaring off those hips. You'll find that right foot will likely drop drastically. You will no longer be so fully expressed in this posture. And now exhale, slowly bringing your knee to your nose as if you're about to plant your foot, and then bringing it all the way back up. And then exhale, bringing your knee this time to your left elbow, your right knee. And then bringing it all the way back up. And then finding the ground with that right foot. Now left foot reaches up high. Hips stacking. Maybe you're hearing some cracks and some pops. Toes are pointed. Whatever you did on that right side, do on this left side. Draw circles if circles feel good. Inhale, leg lifts up high. Exhale, squaring off those hips. Inhale. And exhale, knee comes to your nose as if you're just about to step your foot onto the ground. And then it comes all the way back up. Inhaling here. Inhale, knee finds the opposite elbow, the right elbow. Holds there for a second. And then lifts all the way back up. Foot finds the earth. Back in our downward dog. Moving forward into our high plank. This time lowering down all the way onto our bellies. Flipping our feet. This time maybe lifting up into a little bit higher cobra. Exhale, face down. Inhale, brings you back up to plank. And exhale, downward dog. We're going to stay here in downward dog for a moment. Or if this is feeling like too much, feel free to take a child's pose. Allow your wrists an opportunity to relax. Tapping back into your breathing. Rebuilding that relationship with your Ujjayi breath if you've lost it. It's fine if you did. Happens. But finding it again here now. On your next exhale, walking, hopping, stepping your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, lifting halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reaching all the way up. And exhale, hands find heart center. Inhale, bending the knees slightly, lifting up tall. And exhale, we're going to step out to the right side. Right now, our right foot points straight off the mat. Left foot is at a 45. We're moving into Trikonasana. Arms out strong like a T. We're narrowing our body as if we're fitting through two pieces of glass. Our left hip pops out. Our right hand reaches as far forward as it possibly can before we tilt. And our right hand finds either the shin, the earth, or peace fingers to big toe. Inhaling here. And exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And on your next inhale, the left foot is going to spin towards you as we step into a high lunge. Right knee bends, finds your 90-degree angle. Left quads turning on, lifting up. Arms reach up high. And then on our exhale, hands find the earth in our low lunge. Now we can either stay in a low lunge that's balanced, hands on either side of the foot framing, or you can start to move into a little bit of a hurdlers, which would be both hands on the inside of your foot. And then your knees either lifting up strong off the ground if you want engagement and strength, or dropping to the earth if you want a little bit more rest and stretching. Inhale, right palm finds the earth on the outside of the right foot. Left foot spirals down in a 45. And we open up. Twisting here. Opening up our side body, opening up our hips. And exhale. Palm finds the earth, back foot flips back up. Left knee finds the earth as we come into a half split, Hanuman something or other. Inhaling, moving to low lunge. Exhaling, rounding the back and finding this half split. We're going to move through that movement. Inhaling, lifting up tall. Exhaling, rounding and finding this quad or this hamstring stretch, this hip stretch. Inhale, tucking the tailbone, lifting our arms up high, and exhale, finding the earth and coming back into our half split. Inhale, lifting up high. Exhale, finding the earth and pulling back. Inhale on our next inhale, keeping our hands up high, lifting our back knee off the mat into our high lunge again. And now we're opening up into a warrior two. Back foot flips down, 45-degree angle on the mat, sitting down into that 90-degree angle. Hips open up. Reaching forward, our hands find the mat. And now we're going to draw our hands across the mat, walking through center until we're facing the opposite side in another high lunge. Inhaling, looking up, halfway. Exhaling, stepping that foot back, moving through vinyasa. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling back, downward dog. Sitting here for 3 breaths. And on the bottom of the next exhale, when there's no more air left, we are moving to the top of our mat, however you like, stepping, hopping, walking. Inhaling, lifting halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms reach up high, and exhale, hearts reach center. Now we're stepping out. This time we're repeating that sequence on the left. So, what did we start with? Trikonasana. Alright. Right foot this time is at a 45-degree angle. Left foot is pointed off the mat. Inhale. We're visualizing those 2 planes of glass closing on either side of us as we try to be as flat as possible. On our exhale, our right hip, almost like a string, is attached to it. It's going to pull out. And our left hand is going to reach in the opposite direction as far as it possibly can before we tilt, finding either the hand to the shin, the earth, or peace fingers to big toe. Inhaling here, finding some length. Stretch in that right side body should feel so good. And exhale, finding a little bit more flatness. Opening up that right hip. Opening up that chest. Gaze either goes to the fingertips, straight ahead, the floor, whatever feels good to you. Sitting here. And then when you're ready, hands come to the earth, our feet spin as we find ourselves in a high lunge. And we're going to sit here for a moment, just like you did on the other side. Find a place you're comfortable with. That might be moving in towards hurdlers on the inside edge of your left foot. That might be hands framing the feet. That might have your knee finding the ground. Whatever feels good for you. And on an inhale, finding your left hand on the outside of the left foot, right hand or right foot spins down into 45, and your right arm reaches up tall, opening up. The chest opens, the hips open. We're not dumping into our knee. We're staying up tall. We're engaging our core. You can take your hand off if you need to. And exhale. Hand finds the ground again in your high lunge. Now moving that right knee onto the ground. Left or right toes either tucked for knee support or flat. We're going to exhale and find that half split. Taking an inhale here and an exhale. Inhale, moving into our low lunge, lifting up. And exhale, rounding, finding that tidal movement. Inhale, coming into our low lunge, maybe lifting your arms. And exhale, coming back down, rounding, finding our half split. Inhale, up into low lunge. Exhale, hands come down, finding our half split. Inhale, this time everybody's hands reach up high in low lunge. Our toes are tucked, and we're lifting our knee off the ground, coming back into high lunge. Inhaling here. And exhale, dropping that right foot, opening up into warrior two. Finding a moment of stillness here. And then finding the earth with our hands and drawing all the way around so that we're facing the other direction in a low lunge and stepping that right foot back into high plank. Now moving through your vinyasa, exhaling, slowly lowering down. Inhale. Exhale, back into downward dog. And while we're here in downward dog, drop to your elbows, dolphin. Taking a moment here to engage your shoulder girdle, keeping your head and neck relaxed. Maybe walking your feet in a little bit. Or finding a soft bend in the knees to make it a little bit more accessible. And on an inhale, lifting our elbows evenly off the ground. And on the end of our next exhale, finding our feet to the top of our mat, either walking, stepping, or floating. Inhale, lifting halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms reach up high. Exhale, hands reach heart center. Inhale, we're stepping out wide again this time. Toes pointing outward, heels inward. We're inhaling up high, and we're exhale, coming down into this horse stance. Here our tailbones are tucked, our core is engaged. And inhale, our right arm lifts up high. Exhale, coming back down. Inhale, left arm reaches up high. Exhale, comes back down. Inhale, both arms reach up high, legs straighten. And exhale, we're switching our feet, toes point in slightly, heels out slightly, and finding the earth with our hands. Inhale here, lifting halfway up in this wide leg forward fold. Exhale, encouraging the crown of the head towards the earth. Fingertips are facing the same direction as your toes. Palms are planted, gently encouraging the upper body to come to meet the lower body. Inhale, lifting halfway up, planting the right hand in front of your face. Inhaling, lifting our left arm all the way up. And we can stay here, or that left hand can find a bind, either finding the inside of the thigh. If you're in the bind, come out, inhaling, reaching up high. Exhale, finding the ground, switching hands. Inhaling that right arm up high. And taking the twist if you did on the other side. If you're in the bind, come out, inhaling, reaching up high. Exhale, switching hands. Inhale, moving up high. Exhale, hand sweeps down. Right hand, inhale up high. Exhale, hand sweeps back down, switching. Inhale, left hand moves up high. Exhale, hand comes back down. Right hand lifts up high. Inhale. Exhale, both hands find the earth. Coming to rest here for a moment, inhaling halfway up. Exhale, hands to waist. Inhale, all the way up. And coming back to the proper top of your mat. Inhale, arms reach up high. Big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. And exhale, fingertips brush the mat as we sit back into chair. Utkatasana. Inhale, shoulders open up. Exhale, we sink a little bit deeper. Can we see our toes? Hope so. Inhale, right arm opens up into this twist. And then hand comes back. Inhaling here in center. Exhale, left hand opens up. Opening up that left side body. Opening to the left. And then a hand comes back to center. Inhaling here. Exhaling, opening up the right side. And inhaling back to center. Exhale, opening up the left side. Inhale, back to center. And then exhaling, folding all the way forward. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, stepping or hopping the feet back into high plank. Staying here for a moment. And twisting your feet, letting them fall onto the right foot's outside edge. And then slowly finding center over your right hand as we move into side plank. Your feet can either both stay planted, that left foot can come to balance in the center of you, or you can lift off the ground. Finding side plank here, pretending that a piece of seagrass is tied to your hip, pulling it up high, not allowing you to sink. Left foot is pretending like you're pressing against a wall. Everything's engaged. And exhale, hand slowly finds the earth as we sit in the center for a moment in regular high plank. And then allowing the feet to fall to the opposite sides. The outside edge of the left foot. Inhale, reaching up high into our side plank. Finding whatever variation with your foot that you did last time. Imagining that piece of grass pulling your hips up high, not allowing you to dump, instead making you engage those obliques, your belly's working. And exhale, hands slowly find center as we slowly move down onto our bellies. Inhale, feet flip as we stretch up into cobra. Exhale. Holding that one solid plank, we're lifting up and back into downward dog. Taking 3 breaths here. And on our last exhale, hopping our feet through to seated. Take a moment here to allow the lower body a chance to open up as much as if we opened up the upper body. Starting here in Tadasana. Forelimb staff pose. Our legs are working, pulling our toes back towards us. Heels are even lifting off the ground if there's space. Core is working tight. Gaze is down the face, down the nose. And exhale, relaxing our legs. Arms reaching up high. And exhale, finding either our shins or our feet as we slowly start to fold forward. Keeping our back straight, not rounding for more closeness or proximity towards our shins, but really maintaining that stretch in our hamstrings and our lower backs. Allowing our bodies to serve our bodies and not our egos. On an inhale, looking halfway up. Exhale, coming all the way up. And here we're going to take our right foot, finding our left elbow pit. And we're just going to rock this leg for a second, just like it's a little baby. Rocking it, finding where you find resistance. And then slowly setting that foot, that right foot, on top of the left thigh. Half lotus. Inhaling, lifting up high. And exhale, folding forward. And on your inhale, looking halfway up, exhaling here. Then inhale, lifting all the way up. Picking that foot up and gently offering it back out in front of you. Inhaling, repeating the process with the left. Finding that elbow pit and foot. And then just slowly finding movement. Rocking that foot. Until setting it onto your right thigh. And toes are engaged here. We're protecting our left knee always. Our right toes are engaged. Everything's engaged. Inhaling, lifting up tall out of your hips. And exhale, folding forward. On your next inhale, lifting halfway up, exhaling here, and then inhale, coming all the way up. Gently allowing that foot to return, and shaking out those legs. Now we're finding our tailbone, laying all the way down flat on our backs, knees bent. We're going to take that right foot and extend it up in the sky. Right arms go out like an airplane, like a big T. And then we're figure fouring, allowing that right ankle to sit right next to the left knee. As we exhale and allow that whole configuration to drop to the left side as our gaze finds the right side. Focusing on keeping that right shoulder grounded. Maybe if you want, even grabbing that big toe on the right foot with your peace fingers on the left hand and extending out that stretch with a straight leg. Depending on what part of your body needs attention. And then inhale, gazing faces up. And we're with strength, slowly bringing our whole figure 4 configuration up back to center. And we're switching legs. Inhale, leg lifts up high. Exhaling into our figure 4. Inhaling here, and then exhale, slowly dropping that whole deal down to the right as our gaze falls over to the left. Finding stillness here. And again, maybe grabbing the left big toes with the right peace fingers and opening that leg up straight for a different kind of stretch, depending on what your body's asking from you. On an inhale, our gaze comes back to center, and so does our figure 4. On an inhale, both legs lift up high as we reach for the outer edges of our feet, opening up into dead bugs pose, happy baby, and finding a little bit of movement, undulation here. Rocking side to side if that feels good. And inhale, legs lift up straight and strong. And exhale, we hug our knees, bring your knees into our chest, using as much energy in all of our muscles as possible, contracting our toes, engaging our bellies, engaging our shoulders, giving yourself the biggest hug you've received in all of March. And then exhaling with a big sigh, coming out into your final rest. Now you're in Shavasana. This is a sacred moment for you. It's an opportunity for you to practice letting go of thoughts. Now in this moment of stillness, all of those thoughts and ideas that were away while we were practicing are slowly starting to creep back in. And if they do, it's okay. Don't judge them. Don't get angry at them. Allow them to flow up into your thought. And then without engaging them, allow them to sweep back out like the tide. Thoughts might come in, but then they'll always drain back out. If you're having a hard time finding stillness here, a great exercise I love to practice is repeating the words so and hum. So on every inhale, hum on every exhale in my head. And just before we're finding our total state of surrender, checking in with our bodies, trying to find where we might still be holding on to tension and letting it go. Checking in with your toes, your ankles, your knees, your quads, your glutes, your core, your chest, your shoulders. What can you melt? Your fingers, your throat, your jaw. Unclench your jaw. Even think about letting your ears relax down to the ground. Letting go of it. Letting go of it all. Taking one more deep inhale here. And exhaling it out. start bringing awareness back into your breath. Start by wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. Arms reach up high above your head, stretching out tall and long. And finding the right side of your body, laying on or left, rolling to one side, keeping your eyes closed here. And then finding a comfortable seated position, slowly pushing up again, keeping your eyes closed. Taking a moment here before you get back into your day to remember what your intention was and see if you can carry that through with you for the rest of the day. And I challenge you here, before leaving your mat, to practice mindfulness and think of 3 things that you're grateful for. This might be one of them, but finding gratitude in your day. And I want to close with an Om. Feel free to join me. It's massaging of the central nervous system. Inhale. Thank you so much for taking some time for yourself and joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your day.